Hello, we have a full moon today as I'm recording this, February 3rd, 2015. Here on the West Coast, the full moon was at 3:09 p.m. Um, the full moon is in Leo. The sun, of course, is in Aquarius, and the full moon is in the same position as Jupiter, which generally speaking is positive. It's good for, especially for the fire signs. That would be Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. Sagittarius with the caveats. Um, for them, it should bring, especially if your birthday's around the middle of the sign, it should be good for you socially, even for the air signs. Again, with Gemini, a little bit, more to say to you. But for Libras and Aquariuses, of course. Um, so for all of you, there's the full moon makes relatively positive aspects. There should be generally a sense of well-being. There's It's a good time to be social. It's a good time to get attention, but there's always a but. There are difficult aspects right now, in spite of this particular positive aspect, and in spite of some of the positive aspects that it makes. Depending upon your chart, the degree to which you'll feel these difficult aspects varies. And even if you're one of the signs that would feel it most intensely, how you experience it will vary wildly from day to day, from week to week, really from sort of like few days to few days kind of thing. It seems to go in cycles for most people. So the signs that are most seriously affected still are the mutable signs. That would be Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius. And it is not the easiest of times. The Tale of Two Cities, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, is definitely appropriate because a lot can be coming up for you, a lot. And it really is the best of times and the worst of times. There's an aspect made with a number of planets, Mars, Venus, and Neptune. And Mars and Neptune don't like to be close to each other. They don't really play well together. And Mars is in Pisces, which, isn't really its sign. But these planets are also close to the asteroid Chiron, which is called the Wounded Healer. So this brings up a lot. Basically, it means that you may be facing a lot of suffering on some level, or your Achilles heel is showing or getting pierced. It's definitely an important time to remember that, that the suffering, not so much suffering, but pain. You don't have to suffer through pain, but you do sometimes have to experience painful or difficult situations. And to think of it like, tenderizing the meat, softening you, or a growth experience, but softening you for a purpose. It may not always feel that way, but it really is very much with the aspects right now because they're highly, highly spiritual. So you can be feeling the worst you've ever felt. And then, 2 days later, you can be feeling completely like you've transcended this and you understand something like really significant and important about life and a lot of beauty. It can go back and forth, but also the difficulties do definitely remain ongoing, and there's difficulty, I don't know, expressing yourself, doing what you want, feeling good about yourself, knowing how to even be yourself, knowing what to do. There can be a lot of really bad feelings about yourself coming up. It can be a very difficult time to have, a positive self-image, or to feel like you're able to carry through on any of what you plan to carry through. You can very easily become distracted and just and spacey, and then feel bad about yourself. It's in the face of these particular kinds of aspects. A tremendous opportunity really is there, and it's very important that you be gentle and kind with yourself. Treat yourself as you would a friend, and investigate what's going on. It's very important. It's important also to not be hard on the parts of yourself that you feel embarrassed or ashamed of, but rather to look at them carefully. And many of us have a tendency to blame the ego and the mind, and this is a time when the ego is not having an easy time of it. And when the ego is not having an easy time of it, it can sort of like wildly seesaw back and forth between like not taking care of itself at all and being a total doormat, and being the opposite, like way overdoing it, excesses that are like, oh my God, please stop. In the face of this, it's important to recognize that you're trying to find a balance and that it's not easy. And that, we do need the mind. It's not the enemy. It's just how and when we use it that is something to play with and look at. Another thing that can be helpful is, especially in these times when there is the ability to connect very deeply spiritually, to pay some energy or attention to connecting to that part of yourself that is always okay. There is some part of yourself, no matter what else is going on. If you look deep enough, or if you dialogue with that part of yourself, which you should be able to do now, there's some part of you that's fine, that's totally fine with whatever is going on. You don't have to be that part of yourself all the time, and you probably can't be that part of yourself all the time. But even just a second of connecting to it can remind you that that is also you, regardless of what all else you find yourself, what mire you find yourself mucking your way through. Even if you're not one of the signs that is highlighted as having difficulty, there's no question but that you will be dealing with some of this. And it's not all difficult, as I said. Sometimes, even if you are one of those signs, everything can be flowing beautifully, especially creatively. This can be an enormously creative time. But there's no telling. That's one of the weird things about this aspect. Sometimes it's almost like the flow is magical, and then it's like you just fell into a cesspool. Try to be patient with yourself through it. Some of the other fixed sign aspects, the square with Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, and Uranus in Aries remain. So, everybody gets a little something. But there are generally favorable aspects in this full moon that, help ease the way. And once again, really get some fresh air. And also, if you have the opportunity, water is really good for everyone these days. Not just drinking water, but getting to the water, taking a bath. There's tremendous healing aspects in that right now. Try to enjoy the positive social aspects that are available for you right now, and be gentle with yourself in the face of whatever other difficulties you find yourself facing. I will talk to you soon. I hope you have a good few weeks. Bye.